Right, okay, yeah, teacher question. So what are the Scrum values and why do they matter? I'll be honest, Scrum has 5 great words as values. It has really good concepts behind them, but they're not the only words that are important or interesting. But Scrum does list 5, so we'll talk about those and why they're important. First of all, what are they? Well, we have courage, commitment, openness, focus, and respect. So we'll start with courage. Why is courage important inside a product development team, solving a complex problem? Well, because we're going to be asking them to do things they've never done before, in ways they've never worked before, and often with people they've never worked with. Okay? So we're asking teams to step up. Okay, give things a go, run experiments, try stuff out, have the courage to give it a go, whatever it may be. Okay? That's really important in the complex space because nobody solved this problem before. Not with the people you've got, with the technologies available in the domain you're in. So pre-existing solutions may help, they may hinder, you don't know. You've got to have the courage to step up and give it a go. As a team, okay, as an individual developer, as a product owner, all of them have to be willing to try things out, okay, and accept that it might not go to plan. In fact, if it's always going to plan, that's not really courage. That's it works. You're not learning anything. You're just getting a job done. It's also unlikely to be a complex problem. So we need courage when we're facing complexity because we have uncertainty. We don't know whether or not this is going to work. We're going to have difficult conversations because multiple options will present and we need to choose the one or few that we have the time and energy to take forwards. So courage is really important to this team. Then commitment. Without commitment, you won't get focus, which is coming. But we're looking for teams to commit to getting things done. Okay? What those things are, they're goals. They're not individual items on a backlog. Okay? They're the goal overall. So what we're looking at is they're committing to a product goal. There's a thing out there that motivates them. I would often refer to it as a product vision rather than a product goal. Okay? It's the reason their product ought to exist. Okay? That single point, that North Star for your product owner to say, this is why what you do matters. Okay? Your team needs to get behind it. They need to commit to it. Okay? They're going to do what is within their power to achieve it. There is the sprint goal. So, sprint by sprint, they're committing to a smaller thing, something that is achievable within the time frame, but valuable. It's interesting, it's compelling in its own right. So, we're looking for commitment to each other. There's lots and lots of reasons to do it, but ultimately, what we're saying is, we are a team, we are committed to achieving our goal. Okay? And with that, we'll drive the effort and the work necessary when it's possible. Openness. So, this is an interesting one. Being open with where you are, what you're working on, how it's going. The sprint review is a great example of the openness value in play. You're going to open up talking about what you thought you could do, what the sprint goal was, and what the items were. And then you're going to say, and we did this much of it, and why. You're going to be open about the trials and tribulations your team has encountered over the sprint. It's not whining, it's explaining. There is often a difference between what you say you can do and what you actually achieve, certainly in the early days of your Scrum practice. Okay? Being open about that to stakeholders in the room and saying it didn't all go to plan, but we've learned. Okay? You're then going to talk about it and you're going to get feedback. You're open to hearing feedback. Okay? So you're going to get feedback on the products you've built and on the future of your product. This is important. So as developers, you're hearing maybe it's not as great as you thought it was. Maybe there are some changes coming down the pipeline that will make it better. You're open to those changes. You're open to understanding. Okay? And as a product owner, maybe you're steering the product in the wrong direction from the stakeholders' point of view. And you need to take that feedback on board and bring it out in the next planning. Okay? Openness runs throughout Scrum. You want a team that is open to conversation at any point. You may remember the Agile principles, but welcoming changing requirements even late in the day is in there. You want a team to take that on board, be open to change, to adaptation, to negotiation. Okay? Nothing is set in stone because we're solving a complex problem. What we need to do is maintain that flexibility, and to maintain that we have to be open to the shifting sands of where we work. So openness becomes an incredibly important part of our practice. Focus. I've mentioned it before as part of commitment, but focus is vital to getting stuff done in a timely fashion. Way back when I started in the Agile world, there was often a question to people, would you rather have 5 things 80% done or 4 things 100% done? 400% either way round, which one do you want? And a while ago, the answer would have invariably been, I want 5 things 80% done. And the Agile world said, no, you want 4 things 100% done. Okay. And that was a landmark shift for many people's thinking. Why do I want 4 things? I need to show progress on everything. No, you need to have stuff finished to be usable by your customers. It's only then valuable. So focus becomes an incredibly important part of your practice. You're saying, we are going to focus on just this product. And in this sprint, we are going to focus on just this goal. And while we're working, we are going to focus on this item that is important to that goal, that is important to that product. Okay? And once this one is done, we will move on to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. What we're trying to do is cut down the context switching, cut down the chances that you'll get 80% done and move on. We want it 100% done. The way that I'll often explain it is cars. I don't know a huge amount about cars, but I do know that if it goes to the garage for its brakes to be changed and they give it back to me and say, oh, we're 80% done, I'm sure it's fine, I'm not driving that car home. It needs to be done, 100% finished. Okay? That's what we want. Is we want a team when they hand work over and they say we are finished, we are done, it is finished. In truth, it's something that is safe for the customer to take away and use. Focus is paramount for achieving that. Context switching is a killer. It is an almost silent waste that people don't realise. It's endemic through organisations. They believe that working on lots of things gets stuff done. It doesn't. It makes them busy. But it doesn't actually end up with finished products as quickly as focus. Just taking one thing and getting it done through to the end before moving on to the next one. Okay. And finally, respect. The 5th principle, and I always list it last, and I guess it's because it underpins everything else. Without respect within your team and without to your stakeholders, to your customers, how can you operate? We're working in a volatile, uncertain world. We have to respect people's decisions, their choices. We don't have to like them, we don't have to agree with them, but we have to respect them and the fact that they are working with as limited or maybe more limited knowledge than we do. Right. So our place here is to help them understand better, have conversations. Conflict is okay. We can have conflict respectfully. Okay? Throwing a chair, not respectful. Actually sitting down and having a chat with them and saying, I don't agree with that statement because of these well-founded reasons, that's okay. You can have that conversation. You can respect people you don't like. So hopefully you do like your team, but what we want is throughout everything, everybody's trying their hardest. They're trying to do the best they can with the limited information and skill set that they have. It doesn't matter how good you are, your skill set is limited because you don't know everything and you can't do everything. We rely on each other in these team situations. And one of the underpinning points here is because we respect each other, we know we can rely on you. So, Scrum has 5 values: focus, openness, courage, commitment, and respect. Totally different order this time round. They are incredibly important to your practice inside a Scrum team, inside the world of work. I'll be honest, you could choose 5 equally good words from elsewhere that would do a great job, but those are the 5 listed in the Scrum Guide, and I would recommend having a think about how they come about in your practice. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.